Good morning, 12th class. This is the revision video for the topic electric flux. And first of all, we will discuss what is electric flux and then we are going to move further. Now, what is electric flux? What is electric flux? Electric flux is nothing but how many number of electric field lines can pass through a surface is known as electric flux. So total number of electric field lines crossing per unit area is known as electric flux. So if I give you an example of a dartboard and arrow, if I am having a dartboard, if I am having a dartboard like this and I strike some arrows on this dartboard, then lot of arrows get strike on the dartboard. If I incline this dartboard like this, then earlier if there were 8 arrows which were striking, now what will happen, some of the arrows will go from upstairs, will pass from upstairs, some of the arrows will pass from downstairs, and only few are going to strike this particular dartboard. Now what I do is I make this dartboard completely horizontal. So what will happen, few arrows will move from upwards, few arrows will move from downwards, and nothing is going to strike this particular dartboard. So what have I done, what have we done, what we are doing is we are changing the orientation of area, and as per the orientation what is happening, the number of electric field lines that are crossing or that have to cross that particular surface are getting reduced. So it means that if I say what is electric flux is denoted by this symbol. It is the dot product of electric field and area vector. Here area is not a simple area, it is area vector. And what is this area vector? Area vector is any perpendicular to the area. Any perpendicular unit vector to the area is known as the area vector. And the angle is always between the area vector and the electric field. I explain you with the help of an example. For example, if the direction of electric field is like this is the direction of electric field. If the direction of electric field is like this, and I need to draw the area vector, then the area vector will also be like this, because it is nothing but perpendicular to the area. It means both the electric field and the area vector are in the same direction. So theta will be 0 in this case, and when theta is 0, you know that the value of cos 0 is 1. So when electric field and area vector are in same direction, then angle is 0 and cos 0 is 1, and your flux is going to be maximum. Your flux is going to be maximum in that case. And if your area is like this and electric field is again horizontal, but your area vector is perpendicular to the surface, then what is the angle between the area vector and the electric field? It is 90 degrees in this case. So what is going to happen? Theta will become 90 and the value of cos 90 is going to be 0, means the flux will be 0, it will be minimum. So in the end I conclude, what is flux? Flux is the number of electric field lines that pass through the surface per unit area, and flux is denoted by this symbol. It is the dot product of electric field intensity and area vector. What is this area vector? It is a unit vector which is perpendicular to any area, is known as area vector, and actually the angle between the electric field and the area vector actually determines the flux, whether it is going to be maximum or whether it is going to be a minimum flux. This is how it determines. So now what else? Now we will move further and see whether flux is a vector quantity or a scalar quantity, or what are the units of electric flux. Now flux of course is a scalar quantity. Flux of course is a scalar. It is just the number of lines, electric field lines that are crossing a particular surface. So it is a scalar quantity. Flux is a scalar quantity. And from the formula, you know, flux is dot product of EDS. Flux is dot product of EDS. What are the units of electric field intensity? Electric field intensity is force per unit charge. So that is Newton per coulomb. and area is meter square. So what are the units? The new units are Newton meter square per coulomb. So what are the units of electric flux? Newton meter square per coulomb. Now if we want to calculate the electric flux over any closed surface, we always consider if there is a surface which is of irregular shape, we will consider a small portion of that surface and we will draw a unit vector. ठीक है, so that will become my area vector. And if I want to calculate the flux, the total flux over this whole surface, then I have to integrate it, and on integrating I will get the total flux. The new thing that you are going to learn here is that if you integrate and find out the total flux over a closed area, you have to put a circle over the integration sign. You have to put a circle over the integration sign to calculate the flux over a closed surface. This particular circle indicates that we are calculating flux on a closed surface irrespective of the shape. This circle is representing closed surface. Then we are having a very important topic, that is Gauss law. Gauss law is one of the very important topics as far as your CBSE board exams are concerned. Now what is Gauss law? Gauss law states that if there is a closed surface, then the total flux over that closed surface is 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed in that surface. So flux is 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed in that closed surface. अगर आपको गॉस लॉ अप्लाई करना है तो बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी और मैंडेटरी है कि वो सरफेस कैसा होना चाहिए, वो सरफेस क्लोज्ड होना चाहिए. दैट सरफेस मस्ट बी अ क्लोज सरफेस, तभी आप उसके ऊपर गॉस लॉ अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. अदरवाइज़ आप गॉस लॉ को सरफेस पे अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते हैं. तो गॉस लॉ को प्रूफ करने के लिए क्या किया गया था, एक चार्ज लिया गया था प्लस क्यू. अब प्लस क्यू के आसपास एक क्लोज गॉसियन सरफेस कंसिडर किया गया था, दैट वाज अ स्फीयर. आप कभी भी गॉस लॉ ओपन सर्फेसिस पे नहीं लगा सकते. तो अगर आप एक सिंगल चार्ज ले रहे हैं तो उसके आसपास आप कैसा गॉसियन सरफेस कंसिडर करेंगे, स्फीयर. तो ये पता चला कि अब प्लस क्यू है तो इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड लाइंस जो बनेंगी वो अवे फ्रॉम द चार्ज बनेंगी. इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड लाइंस कहाँ बनेंगी, अवे फ्रॉम द चार्ज बनेंगी. So this is the direction of electric field line. Now if I consider a very small area on this surface, you can see that if I draw perpendicular to that area, then the electric field as well as the area vector, they are in the same direction. What is area vector? Perpendicular to that area, drawn to a small area that we have considered on that particular sphere. So we can see that the electric field intensity and the area vector, they are in the same direction. Now since they are in the same direction, it means that the value of theta is going to be 0 and value of cos 0 is 1. So now if I put all these values here, means I know that flux over a closed surface is E vector dot ds vector. Now what I do is, if I open this dot product, I know that it is E ds cos 0 because both are in the same direction. E and ds are in the same direction. So now if I integrate it, it becomes E ds integration. Now we know that E here is a constant quantity, so it comes out of the integration. So the integration is left of only ds. Now we continue with that. E becomes out of the integral sign and we are having ds. Now if we integrate the whole surface, this whole surface is a sphere. So we are going to get E into 4 pi r square. And you know the formula of E. E is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r square into 4 pi r square. Now if you cancel out r square and 4 pi and 4 pi, you are left only with q upon epsilon naught, and this proves your Gauss law. That the total flux over any closed surface is 1 upon epsilon naught times the charge enclosed in that particular surface. Now we are having certain applications of Gauss law to facilitate easier manner the application of Gauss law. We always have to consider, please remember, we always have to consider a closed surface around anything through which we need to calculate the electric flux. Now I give you an example of a field along a string of uniformly charged wire. Field along a string of uniformly charged wire. Suppose you are having a uniformly charged wire like this. It is positively charged. Now since it is positively charged, its electric field direction is going to be away from it. Its electric field direction is going to be away from it. Now if I consider a Gaussian surface to be a cylinder, which is having length which is equal to the length of that rod L, and which is having radius that is equal to small r. Now we can divide the Gaussian surface into three parts. The first part is the upper circle of the cylinder, the second part is the curved surface area of the cylinder, and third part is the lower circle of the cylinder. Now if I draw perpendicular vectors, means area vectors, then first area vector will be like this, third area vector will be like this, and the second area vector will be like this. Now see these area vectors. You can see that the first, you can easily see that the first area vector is perpendicular to the electric field. The third area vector is also perpendicular to the electric field, but the area vector which is drawn on the second surface, I make it more clear, the area vector which is drawn on the second surface was like this, and the electric field was also like this. So they are in the same direction, but on the first surface the angle is 90 degree, on the third surface the angle is 90 degree. So there is no flux through the first and the third surface. The only amount of electric flux that you are going to get is from the surface number 2, So we are having three flux, phi 1, phi 2 and phi 3 to calculate the total flux. Phi 1 goes away, phi 3 goes away, because in these two regions electric field and unit vector of the area is perpendicular to each other, and the value of cos 90, you are very well aware, is 0. So we are left only with phi 2, in which what is happening, E dot ds. Again what will happen, the value of cos theta is 1 here, because theta is 0. So when we are going to open it again, electric field will move out of the integral sign because it is constant here, and we will get ds. Now where were we calculating this electric field? We were calculating it on the curved surface area of the cylinder. So in place of ds we are going to put the value 2 pi r L, E into 2 pi r L. So what is the value of flux? The flux is E into 2 pi r L. As per Gauss law, flux can also be written as Q upon epsilon naught, and take this 2 pi r L on the other side, that is 1 upon 2 pi r L is equal to E. Then what is the value of Q upon L? Then Q upon L is lambda. So the final expression is lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught r, that is the electric field through a uniformly charged positive wire, uniformly charged wire with a positive uniform charge, and this is the expression of electric field, that is lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught r. Lambda upon 2 pi epsilon naught r. So now the next application is the field through a uniformly charged spherical shell. Now what is happening? We are considering that there is a uniformly charged spherical shell in such a manner that there is a positive charge on the surface of the shell, and the shell itself is having radius capital R. Now to apply Gauss law to any surface, we know that we need to enclose that surface. We want that surface to be inside some other Gaussian surface. So what we are going to do is, I am going to consider it to be inside a sphere which is at a distance small r from this center of this spherical shell. Please remember, capital R is the radius of the shell which is given to you, and all the positive charge is residing on the surface of this shell, and small r is the radius of the Gaussian surface that you are considering, and there is a point P where you are calculating the electric field. Now if I consider a very small area on this outer Gaussian surface, then the unit vector will be in this direction, and since there are positive charges on the spherical shell, the direction of electric field is also going to be in the outward direction. Now since the direction of electric field is also in the outward direction and the unit vector of the area is also in the outward direction, then obviously the angle again theta is going to be 0 and cos 0 is going to be 1. You will realize that all the derivations are approximately the same, they are talking the same thing. Okay, now what is going to happen is that if I calculate the flux E dot ds, then again dot product will open, cos theta will become equal to 1. E will come out of the integral sign and we are having ds. Here ds is what? A sphere of radius small r. So the total area of the sphere will become E into 4 pi r square, E into 4 pi r square. So what is the formula of flux? Flux is coming out to be E into 4 pi r square. Now as per Gauss law, flux can also be written as Q upon epsilon naught equals to E into 4 pi r square. So E can also be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into Q upon r square, into Q upon r square. Now this is, you can see that this electric field intensity is inversely proportional to this small r square. That is, as the distance increases away from the shell, the electric field decreases because E is inversely proportional to 1 upon r square. Now we will discuss two more cases. If r is less than r, that is if you go inside the shell, you are very well aware that there is no charge inside the shell. So inside the shell the flux is 0. Inside the shell the flux is 0 as there is no charge inside the shell. Now if you keep r equals to capital R, that is on the surface of the shell, then you are going to get the maximum flux. You are going to get the maximum flux if you put Q upon r square, where r was small r, as capital R. This is the value of maximum flux on the surface of the sphere because maximum charge is residing on the surface of the sphere. So now if you draw a graph between electric field intensity and distance, then till capital R the electric field is 0, and after that it becomes maximum at r equals to r, and then it starts decreasing because at r equals to, when small r is equal to capital R, flux is maximum, and after that electric field intensity reduces because electric field intensity is inversely proportional to r square. When small r is equal to capital R, your electric field is maximum. Your electric field is going to be maximum when small r is going to be equal to capital R. Your electric field is going to be maximum, and after capital R it goes on decreasing with the relation that E is inversely proportional to r square. And here this topic gets completed, and there were 3 topics under the topic flux: what is flux, Gauss law, and applications of Gauss law. Thank you so much.